Hello, and welcome to Alchemical Serenity, the pagan podcast that takes you on a journey through the year, following the change in the seasons, month by month, in a light-hearted, chatty, even waffly way, allowing you to choose if anything fits your path, or in many cases just listening whilst cleaning, walking the dog, doing a bit of gardening. If that moment of alchemical serenity works for you in whatever you are doing, that is fantastic. Now, if you have been with me since time immemorial, then thank you for supporting me and popping back in. And if you are new, then welcome. I hope you find something somewhere that helps you on your path. There's lots that I have recorded previously, so have a look through the channel and see if there's anything of interest. We are all on individual paths, and we come to learn lessons about ourselves and other people in this experience of being human. No path is alike. Some are more challenging than others, but ultimately it is an experience. So if you are new here, I am not a dictating thou shalt or thou shalt not. The only path I follow is one of animism, which is connected to all living things and that everything has a consciousness. Whatever path or religion you follow, and whomever you pray to or not, you are welcome here. So, did you celebrate the equinox in any way at all? In my mind, I'm imagining so many people blissfully lighting candles, opening windows, dusting and cleaning and letting in the spring air. What an aesthetically pleasing image. Actually, that probably didn't even happen, did it? I mean, that's one of those ones that you go and find on Instagram, isn't it? Of somebody's lifestyle, and you look at it and go, oh, I wish that was mine. And then think, they've had to produce that. There's no way these people live that lifestyle. Nobody has the time. But that aesthetically wonderful, I've opened my windows and I've let in the fresh air. It's always one of those things that I look at and think, one day I might remember to do that. Although I live in the countryside, and if you open your windows now, fresh air, it's not as fresh as you might think it is, because the farmers are out crop spraying, and that stuff has had all winter fermenting. Nice. If we didn't have social media, would anyone really light that candle? How much of what we see is about what other people think we want to see, or perhaps them needing to fit into a lifestyle? The only spring clean that I managed was shifting a lot of horse poo in my field. I had to rehang the 5-bar metal gate because one of them had been busy scratching their bums on the gate and lifted it off its hinges. Now, these are metal 5-bar, 12-foot gates. I don't know how she does it. I know which one it is. And I am sure between the pair of them, they went, right, hoik that end up and I'll hoik this end up and let's get it off, because it was literally hanging. The only thing that was holding it in place was a piece of electrical field tape and some bale twine on the other end, which is my sort of safety thing in case they do try and lift the gate off. Sometimes I really need to think about my life choices. I will be adding a little bit of field footage at the end of this podcast to show you how the field is developing into spring. And there has been some significant change, because we've had some fairly warm weather. At one point, I think, shockingly, we went from maybe 8 degrees one day up to 20 degrees the next day, and then down to 1 degree overnight. It was really bizarre, and I've had to change the horses' rugs, for those who are interested, because they were sweating, which I would be as well. That their rugs are sort of the level of it being -5, and at 20 degrees it was just too warm for them. So it's been a busy old time in the field with the horses. So let's get back to the plot. Why are we here? We're here to talk and walk through April. So I was actually thinking the other day about time, and I don't know about you, but do you feel like it's slipping away from you? Each year seems to pass quicker than the last year. You feel you're on this roundabout and you can't get off. Well, if you do, that's me as well. And so I did one of those rare things. I stopped, I grounded myself, and I said, like, okay, let's just hang on a minute. I got myself a nice mug of cacao, and on a very rare occasion, I sat down and did a meditation in some of that spring sunshine that we had. And I sat on my very bare patio. Now I say bare because all the plants had become so wet over the winter. We've had so much rain, they've actually literally got up out of their pots and they've walked to higher ground. So there's lots of empty pots and all my plants are sitting up the other end of the garden. You're wondering now if that's true, aren't you? Go on. In your mind, you saw plants climbing out of their pot and disappearing up to the top of my garden to higher ground. Going back to the plot, why do we feel like we are racing through our days and faster each year? Well, the answer came to me. When we're children, we are focused on education, we are focused on new challenges, and our brains are soaking up new information. We are in that routine of learning, of coming home, of spending time with family, playing, doing whatever we want to do within reason. And we are growing, but we're always soaking up new stuff. And, time for us is 1 week of school and moving towards the next holiday, isn't it? But then later in life, as we're approaching sort of, I suppose, midlife, and we've maybe had families or we've got comfortable in our jobs, we are paying the mortgage, and we are going through again this consistent ritual of whatever we need to do. But we're not learning anything more. We don't necessarily do anything new. Unlike in school, you are always learning something. You've done your learning, and you're in your job, and many people are quite content with that and quite happy. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that we're not learning something new. Those little grey cells that Poirot talks about are not doing anything, and they're not learning something new. And apparently we can get a huge dopamine kick by learning something new, about putting something new into our lives. And I've noticed myself, I've been very much like it. The last 3 to 4 years have flown by really far too quickly than I actually realised. And it was my doing, because I was in that state of mind of sort of sitting on a roundabout and just going round and round in circles, doing the same thing, getting up, going doing the horses, doing some work in the day, walking the dog, going to do the horses, coming home, cooking dinner. And every day was doing the same thing. And they were all melding, because I work from home for myself, they were all sort of melding into one day. And I had to look at the calendar and go, hang on, what day of the week it is? Do I put the milk bottles out tonight? When do the bins go out? Because I've got into a routine that there's nothing sparking my imagination. And it was at that point that I thought, well, this is completely it, isn't it? I need to change what I'm doing. I need to find something creative. And so I went back and, I found some creative things to do. So within this meditation, it was all about finding something very simple that causes those grey little cells to kick in. And then each week or month, depending on the time I have to be able to take up something new, something creative, set myself a challenge. And a challenge to do something new, not necessarily a challenge to set, not setting a goal, not that, I will achieve something by the end of April, for example. This was to set myself a challenge to do something new and to make sure that I do it, even if it was, I don't know, making an item of clothing, perhaps doing some more crochet, doing some more sewing. Something on those lines, holding up my artist brush aloft and saying, I did this. And that's when you get your dopamine kick and you get that, wow, I actually achieved something new. And I think we all get into that roundabout, don't we? So what I'm just trying to say here is, through all the waffling, that when I started writing this podcast in early March, I had plans to go and visit lots of new places and add them into the podcast. Sort of like a separate visual vlog. But at the moment, we're all sort of hanging off going anywhere because we've got this problem with our oil, haven't we? Petrol and diesel going sky high. And I noticed that I came home today and one of the local petrol stations to me had got theirs at 172 for diesel and 142 for petrol. And I have no doubt that it's still going to continue to go higher. I think it's actually been stated, hasn't it, that this might, carry on, and there's for no reason. This is just profiteering, but I'm not going to get onto that rant because we'll be here all day and you'll be thinking, oh, what is the point? I thought this, podcast was all about lots of April positivity, and blimey heck, she's having a right old rant about diesel. So I'm not going to go any further on that one. But I was planning on going out and doing something. But, there's plenty to be doing in the garden. So I think I might have to start gardening again. And there's plenty of poo that needs picking, and there's plenty of fencing that needs repairing in my field. So I might have to hold off until perhaps we see what happens with the fuel prices. Because it will just, for me to go anywhere from my village, it's a bit of a trek to go and find somewhere to take you all to. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. So my question for you in the comments below is, what challenge could you set yourself as we walk through April? What do you fancy doing that's something new? Is there something on your bucket list that you think, oh, God, I really need to do that? And if I set myself a goal to try and do that this April, what would it be? I mean, obviously, it depends where you're listening in from. You could be Northern Hemisphere and we're coming into spring. You could be Southern Hemisphere and you're heading towards autumn. So obviously, realistically, it's all down to, what you're able to do and able to fit in. But so my challenge to you is, what could you do? And if you've got some ideas of things that you'd like to try and you think you can achieve them by the end of April, then put them in the comments below, because I'd be really interested to see what different things people feel that they can achieve. So April carries unique energy because it bridges two zodiac signs, Aries and Taurus. Now, Aries is known for its bold and ambitious nature, and it encourages action and determination at the start of the month. Later, Taurus takes over, bringing in a sense of stability and persistence, which helps keep you grounded as you continue working towards your goals. Now, this mix of sort of a fiery passion from Aries and steady focus makes April a really great time to chase your dreams step by step. April is also a month of gentle transformation, sort of almost breaking us into the abundance that is due from next month onwards. Nature is beginning to bloom, the days are stretching longer, and the air carries a sense of possibilities. It's the perfect time to refresh your mind, body and spirit with intentional rituals that nurture inner peace and invite new beginnings. And if you're listening in the UK, we are about to change the clocks to British summertime, or depending on when this podcast actually goes live, we may have just done it. And she's normally on the Sunday, isn't it, that I try and put it up at the end of the month. So that sort of last weekend. So we probably are now, we could be on British summertime. We'll have to see when this goes live. But it's time to use that light that we are gaining to take up those new challenges and to give our brains something to think about and give us a sense of purpose on this path that we walk. We get a double kick of serotonin from the sun, and we get that dopamine from the new challenges we set ourselves. So, they don't have to be big. The smallest of challenges are the best because they are achievable. Sowing plants, creating a small wildlife pond maybe, learning a new skill, completing the Times crossword. There's always something that can be done. But here's a few things you may like to do this month on a spiritual basis. Morning sun gratitude ritual. So as the mornings grow lighter, step outside or sit by a sunny window. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, place your hand on your heart and feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Whisper 3 things you're grateful for. They can be as simple as the scent of fresh air or the sound of birdsong. Before you open your eyes, visualise golden light from the sun filling your body and energising you for the day. This can become a daily practice, and it aligns your energy with positivity and abundance. Spring cleansing for the soul. Now, just as we declutter our homes, April invites us to clear emotional and mental clutter. As we walk through our year, we always carry something with us. We can't declutter everything, But we also don't need to hang on to things. We always need to be making way for something new. Or maybe just some new challenges that are coming your way, and maybe they were sent your way in March, and that you can now write them down on a piece of paper because you've dealt with something that, you got rid of something in March and now you're moving on into April. Write those down and think, I did that. I achieved something. I've managed to get rid of that from March, or I've dragged that at the back of me. I've towed it up the hill from January. And if you have, write it on a piece of paper and burn the paper safely in a 5-proof dish. And just imagine that smoke carrying those things away that you no longer need. Follow with a nice cup of herbal tea, something like chamomile or perhaps lemon balm, to soothe and ground your spirit. And if you wish to burn any herbs or cleanse your space, then use perhaps rosemary, lavender or sage. And don't forget to grow your own and work with the plants throughout the year in your sacred space. Working with energy of plants that you've grown, you are setting the intention with the plant to say, I'm growing you for this reason, and I would like you to help me cleanse myself and cleanse my space. Whatever the plant is that you're planting, talk with it and ask it for help. Nature connection walk. You know me, I love a good nature walk. So if you can choose one day a week to perhaps walk in nature without distractions, if you can't do one day a week, then try one every fortnight, one a month even. Put your phone on silent. Allow yourself immersion into nature. So notice the colours, the textures, the scents around you. Listen to the different sounds. You don't need to specifically go hug a tree, but maybe if there is one in a park that you feel drawn to, then take some time to get to know its energy. Ask its permission to enter its space. Connect and sit a while. Let your energy connect with the earth. Perhaps you can collect the few things from your garden or on a walk that you can place on your sacred space. And pack away anything that still holds the essence of winter. And if you can, bury it in the garden with a small little ritual, just to let go. This mindful connection helps restore balance and reminds us of our place in the greater cycle of life. April affirmation. Now repeat this daily. I welcome renewal. I embrace growth, and I trust the unfolding of my journey. You can write this down if you want to. I welcome renewal. I embrace growth, and I trust the unfolding of my journey. In writing this down and saying it, whether you have it in your journal or perhaps you can create something with those words, paint, draw, junk journaling, whatever makes those little grey cells and gives you a challenge to do something that's artistic and a sense of excitement or something new, then try it with those words and see what that does for you on your path. April is a month to plant seeds, so both in the soil and in your soul. So by weaving these rituals into your days, you can create space for clarity, joy and spiritual alignment to blossom. For many people, April is all about Easter, and for many kids, it's all about chocolate. Children in the UK have 2 weeks school holidays. They break up, as I'm recording this, they will be breaking up, I think, the Friday before we change the clocks back, and they'll have a fortnight's holiday. And many people head off on their first holiday of the year because it's a lot warmer, it's still out of season, and it's a little bit cheaper to get on a flight somewhere warm. The Romans celebrated the goddess Vesta of the hearth and home in April, and we also can celebrate Earth Day on April the 22nd. Perhaps you have time to help with a local clean-up of the land or beaches, or helping to plant trees, especially for Earth Day. This not only supports your personal growth, but also the environment. We have 2 moons to think about as well through April. We have April's full moon, which in the northern hemisphere is where we are at the moment, and obviously we're going with GMT. It's Thursday, April the 2nd at 2:12 a.m. And April's full moon is a gentle awakening for mind, body and spirit. It's often called the pink moon. Now, the pink moon is a name given to the full moon by the Native Americans. It's not a name we should really be calling it in the UK, because it's not our name. It's only become popular because it's on the internet, and so people think, oh, that's what it is, and it isn't. To me, the moon in April would have been the Celtic moon. For us in the UK, name would be the budding moon, and this was the season, obviously, that we would start to see growth and the buds coming out on the trees. I mean, they've come out a little bit early this year because all of a sudden we had that kind of heat wave. But common names across Europe also referred to the budding and birth of spring. The Anglo-Saxons called it the egg moon. The Celts had names like, obviously I've said budding moon and new shoots moon, seed moon and the growing moon. And neo-pagans name it the awakening moon. The April full moon can also be the Paschal moon, which is used to celebrate the date for Easter. So if you are interested in why it's called that, obviously you can go and have a look online. I do believe that the pink moon is called due to the blooming of a phlox subulate. It's a pink wildflower that is one of the first to bloom in early spring in the United States. Therefore, it's not our moon here in the UK. But despite its name, the pink moon does not actually appear pink. You can stand up there as long as you like going, oh, it does look a bit pink. No, it doesn't. Take your spectacles off. You've got the wrong pair on. The name is just symbolic. And really, we just should really be celebrating seasonal renewal and growth. So April's moon is a luminous reminder that life is blossoming all around us and within us. It carries a soft yet powerful energy, encouraging renewal, emotional release and gentle transformation. So the spiritual energy this month, it invites us to embrace balance. Now this is a balance between action and rest, giving and receiving, dreaming and doing. It's time to shed all that heaviness of winter and step into the lightness of spring. Spiritually, this moon is linked to rebirth and renewal, so letting go of all the old patterns to make space for fresh opportunities. Emotional healing by releasing lingering sadness or self-doubt. Connection to nature, aligning with the cycles of growth and change. And a gentle full moon ritual for well-being could be spending time. Not anything elaborate. You don't need to have elaborate tools to connect with the moon's magic. Just sit there and connect with just intention and presence. Find a nice calm space, and you could light a candle, burn some incense, or simply open a window to let the fresh air in. You could release some thoughts through writing. A piece of paper, write down what you're ready to let go of, and any fears, habits or limiting beliefs that have cropped up in the last few weeks since we've done that, and let them go. If you like to do moonlight meditations, then sit where you can see the moon, or if it's cloudy, you'll know it's there. Perhaps have an image of a moon in front of you and just breathe deeply, visualising the light washing over you, cleansing and recharging your energy. You can make a gratitude offering, end by speaking aloud 3 things that you're grateful for, and this seals your ritual with positivity. Although we've already spoken about affirmations previously, if you are looking for affirmations for April's full moon, you could use I welcome new beginnings with an open heart. I release what no longer serves my highest good. I am in harmony with the cycles of life. And remember, like the first flowers of spring, your transformation can be soft, steady, and deeply beautiful. Now, just as an aside, if you listened to last month's podcast, I just have to say, and I did have some comments about this, I still haven't thought of a better name for the full moon in March than Worm Moon. Although I am considering Slug Moon, because I seem to have more of those appearing in my home again. As it's warming up, they're coming out from underground, although I have no idea where they're coming in from, but I found 2 of them on my work surface the other day. Where they were heading, I do not know. They were swiftly lobbed down the garden because just this evening, as I'm recording this, I heard my lovely husky out in the garden going berserk. And there's only one noise that she makes, and when she makes that noise, it's the hedgehog has woken up. So the hedgehog, who we didn't see at all last summer, I don't know where the hedgehog went, but the hedgehog is back, looking very small, but it has survived winter. And I'm now sort of thinking I'm going to have to watch the dog every night now for the next 6 months, because there'll be a lot of barking when she finds the hedgehog in the garden. I mean, the hedgehog's clever. It just rolls up in a ball and just says, I'm not moving until you've gone. And we have to go and drag the dog back in. But I haven't thought of anything for the worm moon. So if you are listening, Paul, thank you for your non-suggestion as well, because I know you left me a comment on the last one. I'm sure at some point another name will come to me. I will think about that one. Moving on to April's new moon on Friday, April the 17th at 12:52 p.m. April's new moon is a spiritual gateway to renewal. So April's new moon is more than just a celestial event. It's a cosmic invitation to pause, reset and realign with your truest self. This lunar phase marks the beginning of a fresh cycle, offering fertile ground for planting seeds of intention that can blossom over the weeks ahead. The energy of April's new moon carries a vibrant, forward-moving energy, so it's time to release the weight to the past and again step into lighter, more purposeful version of yourself. And spiritually, the new moon is a blank canvas, a moment when the universe sort of whispers, you can begin again. You may feel a surge of motivation, clarity, or even restlessness, and then these sensations are signs that your soul is ready to change. To align with April's new moon energy, try incorporating gentle, mindful practices. So perhaps set yourself some clear intentions. Write down what you wish to invite into your life. Be specific. The more specific you can be, the better your intentions will work. If you just give something that's, kind of an umbrella intention, you're not going to get the right results. So speak your intentions aloud and give them power. Cleanse your space, again, light incense, burn sage, or simply open your windows to let that fresh air and energy flow in. I know sometimes I repeat myself, but obviously one is April energy and the other is new or full moon energy, and they do cross over. Meditation in stillness, so spend a few minutes in quiet reflection, visualising your goals as they've already sort of come to life. If you had a goal that has appeared and you've achieved something, then visualise on that, because that gives you a great feeling. And it's always good to just think, I achieved that goal, and that's, give yourself a pat on the back. Affirmations for April's new moon would be, I welcome new beginnings with an open heart, and I trust the path unfolding before me. Again, use that one within your journaling, or perhaps create something around those words. I'm now going to add in a little vlog on the field and the changing of nature and how it's moving forward, and with a little bit of music, just a little something to show you. It'll probably all look better next year, won't it, when we come to the end of the year and I can put all the months together and you can see how it changes. But I'll add that in now, and I should be back in a few minutes. closing thoughts on April. The moons are a gentle reminder that you are never stuck. You are always evolving. This month, give yourself permission to dream bigger and using all those energy of the sun's extra light, the moon's lunar energy, to set yourself a challenge, to not let yourself get stuck in a rut. I hope this walk through some spiritual ideas for April has been of interest to you. I'll be adding in an additional podcast later in the month about Beltane and hopefully a meditation. So don't forget to click on the bell for notifications on when I upload something for you. And if you haven't subscribed, and don't mind if you do, that would be fabulous. Thank you for being with me. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to like. It's always nice to have a conversation with you about the path you're on or maybe challenges that have come up in your life. So until next time, look after yourself. Have a wonderful April. Can't wait for Beltane. And bye for now.